You won't believe what happened to Ashlee Jenae and what her fiancé was posting online while she was missing. A luxury trip to Tanzania, a crypto CEO once worth millions, an 80% financial wipeout, and a disappearance that has the internet demanding answers. But that's not all. Wait until you see the timeline. On the surface, it looked like a fairy tale. Private flights, exotic destinations, high-level crypto conferences, a glamorous engagement splashed across social media. Ashlee Jenae and Joe McCann appeared to be living the dream. He was the self-made crypto hedge fund manager. She was the beautiful, poised fiancé traveling the world by his side. But behind the curated Instagram photos and polished X posts, something was unraveling. Because in 2025, Joe McCann's hedge fund, Asymmetric, reportedly suffered a catastrophic $100 million loss, an 80% wipeout. The kind of loss that doesn't just hurt your portfolio, it destroys your reputation.
So you mean to tell me that Ashlee Jenae and Joe McCann get together a year ago? Joe loses millions of dollars a year ago. Fast forward another year, they go on vacation. He proposes to her. She's found dead.
And just months later, Ashlee Jenae would disappear in Tanzania. The question is no longer just what happened to Ashlee. The question is, who was Joe McCann when the cameras weren't rolling?
See, I think Joe McCann is going to spend the rest of his life in Tanzania prison. He's going to spend the rest of his life in Tanzania prison because, just hear me out, right? He cannot use any U.S. resources. He can't use a U.S. attorney. He has to get his attorney from Tanzania. Not only that, but Tanzania don't care about who he is or how much he's worth. You think you're going to come up in their country and unalive they people? Because people, granted, she is from Kenya. She has citizenship both in Kenya and in the U.S. Not only, but that is the same exact reason why they seized his passport and he's being detained now.
Joe McCann wasn't supposed to be ordinary. A former philosophy major turned self-taught finance expert, he built a brand around being ahead of the curve. Crypto native, tech forward, hyper confident. By 2024, he was being praised as a visionary in the digital asset space. His hedge fund, Asymmetric, was considered one of the top performing liquid alpha and venture capital funds in crypto circles. Heavy exposure to Solana, strategic positioning in Bitcoin, bold predictions about market cycles. Podcasts invited him on as a thought leader. Investors trusted his instincts. Social media amplified his persona. He wasn't just investing in crypto, he was selling certainty. And in bull markets, certainty feels like genius. But markets don't move on confidence alone. By late 2025, the narrative shifted. Crypto volatility intensified. Solana experienced significant downward pressure. Market sentiment turned brutal. And Asymmetric reportedly lost around $100 million. 80% of its value gone.
Joe calls Ashlee's parents 11 hours after the fact to tell them that something has gone on with their daughter. The parents come out with a statement saying that Ashlee was deeply loved, she was vibrant, full of life, and had so much ahead of her. But she hangs herself? Something is just not adding up. I would advise the parents to bring a private investigator and someone to do a private autopsy on that daughter, and not to leave Africa without making sure that their daughter has all of her organs intact. Because who do you know that will lose millions and then jump into a relationship? Who? Something is definitely not adding up, and you can tell in the parents' face.
For most investors, that's devastating. For a fund manager whose identity is built on being right, it's existential. On podcasts, including appearances in crypto circles, McCann admitted he was caught off sides. The trades didn't go as expected, the timing was off, the bets didn't land. But here's where it gets psychologically interesting. In high-stakes finance, reputation is currency. When you lose money, you don't just lose capital. You lose trust. You lose leverage. You lose status. And in some cases, you lose yourself. But that financial collapse, that's only part of the story. Because while his fund was imploding, Joe McCann was still living like nothing had changed. And that's where the red flags begin. Despite the reported wipeout, McCann and Ashlee continued traveling, luxury hotels, international trips, high-end networking events. To outsiders, it looked like wealth, stability, success. But critics now question whether it was something else. In the world of hedge funds, perception matters almost as much as performance. If investors believe you're struggling, they pull out. If they sense weakness, they disappear. Maintaining the appearance of wealth can buy time. Time to pivot, time to rebrand, time to launch something new. In 2025, McCann attempted to launch a new project called Accelerate. Reports suggest institutional investors backed out, allegedly due to Asymmetric's performance and concerns about business practices. Public figures, including Iggy Azalea, were said to have warned others about doing business with him. That's not a small thing. When reputation fractures in finance, it spreads fast. And yet online, Joe remained active, confident, analytical, still talking markets, still discussing AI, still projecting control. But control is fragile when everything is collapsing underneath.
Yeah, you can't convince me that he didn't do it. Not only because it's the most statistically likely scenario, not only because the eyes never really lie, but also because of this. He retweeted this article saying that his faith in the youth of today is fully restored after reading the best posts of the year. I'll let you read some of this title. But the creepiest part about this article is this. The opposite of soon is noose. If you don't have soon, you're going to noose yourself.
Around April 4th, 2026, Joe McCann and Ashlee Jeanee arrived in Tanzania. It was supposed to be another luxurious international experience. On April 5th, Ashlee made her last known social media post. Then, silence. From April 6th to April 12th, Ashlee's accounts went quiet, but Joe's didn't. During that same window, he continued posting on X about artificial intelligence, defense technology, capitalism, and market trends. No visible panic, no public alarm, no urgent pleas for help, just business as usual. And that contrast is what ignited the internet.
Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Ashlee and her boyfriend, Joe McCann, went on a trip to Tanzania for her birthday where he proposed to her. After the proposal, there was an argument in the hotel room where they had to separate them in different rooms. That doesn't happen when you're just arguing. Next thing you know, she is found unconscious in her room. Authorities in Tanzania said that she tried to take her own life, allegedly by noose. Authorities announced that they ruled out foul play, although they have confiscated his passport. So I will keep you updated on the situation. But I hope Ashlee and her family are able to get justice.
Imagine this. Your fiancé is missing in a foreign country. Would you be tweeting about AI models? Would you be analyzing market structures? Or would you be doing everything possible to find her? Eventually, reports emerged that Ashlee Jenae was deceased. McCann reportedly claimed she had taken her own life, but the timeline and the tone of his online presence sparked intense skepticism.
They're going to make him stay until they get to the bottom of what happened. And if they get the evidence back and the evidence does not match the stories for what he's been saying, we'll be going down for first-degree murder. Sure will be, and he will be locked up that same exact day. The moment they get to the bottom of the forensics, what happened.
Social media users began asking questions, hard questions. And just when you think the situation couldn't get more disturbing, the psychological layer comes into focus. Because this isn't just about finance, it's about identity. When someone builds their entire persona around winning, what happens when they lose? In elite finance circles, success isn't optional. It's expected, it's performative, it's public. An 80% wipeout isn't just financial pain, it's humiliation. Research on high-status identity collapse shows that individuals who experience rapid loss of status can face extreme psychological distress. Some double down, some detach emotionally, some compartmentalize, and some maintain a facade long after the foundation is cracked. Observers now question whether Joe McCann was under immense internal pressure. Pressure to recover, pressure to rebuild, pressure to appear unfazed. And if your partner carries social capital, beauty, influence, public admiration, that relationship itself becomes part of the brand. Some analysts suggest he may have leveraged the relationship to preserve his image during financial decline. That doesn't prove wrongdoing, but it raises ethical and emotional questions. Was Ashlee a partner or part of the projection? One of the most jarring elements of this case is the digital behavior. While Ashlee was allegedly missing or deceased, Joe's posts focused on technical subjects, AI scaling, defense innovation, macro trends. No visible emotional shift. Critics describe the behavior as detached. Some online commentators went further, labeling it narcissistic or sociopathic. Those are serious accusations, and they remain allegations. But perception shapes public outrage. And in the age of digital transparency, people expect visible grief. When it isn't there, suspicion grows. This is where the story becomes bigger than one couple, because now it touches on power, privilege, and international systems.
If even one part of the information don't add up into the story that he's been telling, he's a goner. They're going to make him sit in prison or sit in jail until trial, for sure. And I just feel like this is how you know this wasn't like really thought out or planned, because somebody that has so much wealth like that, I don't think they would have did something like this out of the country. Y'all keep saying, oh, the infrastructure and he was smart and he did this and he did that. No, baby, it don't work like that.
Commentators like Tariq Nasheed and O'Shea Duke Jackson have framed this situation through a systemic lens. They argue that when wealthy Western individuals are involved in incidents abroad, power imbalances can shape outcomes. The phrase, the belly of the beast, refers to navigating systems where economic and racial privilege may influence legal processes. Some critics speculate that McCann may have felt more insulated operating within a foreign jurisdiction than in the United States. Again, that is speculation, but the discussion reflects broader anxieties about accountability in international disputes. When tragedies happen abroad, who controls the narrative? Who controls the investigation? Who controls the resources? And how does wealth shift those dynamics? But here's the part that keeps people up at night. If the fund hadn't collapsed, if the reputation hadn't cracked, if the pressure hadn't mounted, would Ashlee still be alive? Social media is a highlight reel. Private jets, smiling selfies, romantic captions. But behind curated perfection can exist financial chaos, emotional instability, and immense stress. The contrast between the ballin' CEO persona and the reported $100 million loss creates cognitive dissonance. Viewers feel betrayed, because the fairy tale now looks like theater. And when theater collides with tragedy, the fallout is explosive. As of mid-April 2026, Ashlee Jenae's death remains a point of intense international interest. Many are demanding transparency. Was it truly self-inflicted, as reportedly claimed? Or does the financial and psychological context suggest something darker? Authorities continue their processes. Public scrutiny continues online. And Joe McCann's digital footprint remains under a microscope. If you've stayed with the story until now, here's what matters most. This case isn't just about crypto losses. It's about the danger of unchecked image management. It's about how quickly status can collapse. And it's about how digital behavior in moments of crisis can permanently shape public perception. The truth may ultimately be determined by investigators, but the warning signs, the financial implosion, the pivot attempts, the curated luxury amid reported insolvency, the social media disconnect have already reshaped how people see this story. A young woman traveled across the world with the man she loved. Days later, she was gone. Behind her death lies a web of money, pressure, reputation, and unanswered questions. And until clarity comes, the mystery lingers. What do you think really happened? Was this a tragic mental health crisis, a coincidence of timing and market collapse? Or is there more beneath the surface that investigators haven't revealed yet? Comment your thoughts below. If you found this breakdown valuable, subscribe for deeper investigations into the stories behind the headlines. And stay tuned, because as this case develops, the next update may change everything.